The next morning, our protagonist went to the library to read about advanced alchemy, feeling a bit disappointed to find that in such a huge library, there were only 4 books on alchemy. It is then that our protagonist admits that alchemy is somewhat important. However, it becomes less useful over time. At that moment, he realizes the reason why it becomes useless. Apparently, any form of alchemy is written in a super difficult language to learn, but thanks to the powers of the goddess Nolan, he can easily read any language. Upon returning to his sweet home, our protagonist encounters Maria, who claims to have seen both him and Sophia outside the castle, making promises to each other. She compares them to a princess and a prince pledging loyalty to one another. The next day, very early in the morning, our protagonist and his companions are forced to polish some toilets that our dear Takumi made to sell in the town. Excited, Maria asks if he enjoys doing this, to which our protagonist reveals that he does, but he will still try to do something else, admitting that he is a big fan of traveling and adventures. He mentions that he has recently found some great landscapes for exploration, but states that Sophia must accompany him as a guard. Hearing this, Maria becomes a bit nervous upon realizing that Maple will also be joining them. She suggests going on the adventure too, but the protagonist admits that this could be very dangerous for her. Hearing this, Maria starts crying, admitting that cleaning such a big house without them would make her job hell, something like being a toilet in the middle of the desert. This makes our protagonist start to reflect on whether to take her or not, but she quickly stands in front of him, asking him to let her join. It is then that Takumi decides to scan her abilities, discovering that she is extremely powerful, essentially a combat maid. Upon seeing these stats, the protagonist admits that she is quite skilled. Sophia then decides to intervene, saying it would be appropriate to take her, and she would take the opportunity to teach her magic. Knowing all this, the protagonist agrees without any objections. Later, Takumi takes both girls to craft their new combat weapons, first asking Sophia about her ideal weapon. She explains that she needs a long sword, approximately 50 centimeters, and a small round shield, something not too heavy for combat. This makes the protagonist realize that she is a full-fledged warrior. At the same time, he asks Maria what she needs to fight. She says that the best option would be a pair of daggers, since that's what she used in her previous place. However, Sophia suggests using a combat spear, promising to teach her how to use it. Excited, Maria agrees without hesitation. At nightfall, our protagonist begins crafting the weapons, as it is no easy task. Meanwhile, the 2 girls train with weapon replicas, where Maria is amazed by Sophia's spear skills. Afterward, the protagonist manages to finish all the work, feeling quite exhausted, but leveling up many skills in the process. To differentiate the weapons, Takumi adds custom seals, Sophia's bearing a wing, and Maria's a flame. Upon completion, he enchants them with damage increase and repair. Additionally, the protagonist crafts 3 daggers as a personal favor to Maria, but quickly has inappropriate thoughts, imagining the young girl carrying these daggers near her thighs, which causes a nosebleed due to his perverted nature. Following this, it's time for the protagonist to focus on the armor. He has no choice but to summon 2 life-size dolls of Maria and Sophia, claiming it's purely for testing the armor, although his expression suggests otherwise, as he quickly decides to check the busts of both mannequins. Thus, our protagonist, using boar leather and some maple spiderweb, begins crafting outfits based on his preferences. He then gives the armor to the girls, crying tears of joy as they look stunning in them. Although the outfits are quite revealing, the girls admit they feel extremely comfortable in them, asking Takumi how he managed to get their exact body measurements, which makes him feel a bit awkward. Next, it's time for the weapons, and both are extremely satisfied with their craftsmanship. Likewise, the protagonist gives them a pair of rings to help activate their magical powers. Realizing he used a lot of magic for this, both girls thank him from the bottom of their hearts. After all that, our protagonist took the 2 girls to register them in the guild so they could level up as they started defeating monsters. Quickly, the receptionist gave them their cards, stating that they would be ranked H, one of the lowest ranks. However, our protagonist understood the situation and swiftly approached the mission board, accepting a rank G mission. That's when Sophia told the protagonist to choose a stronger one, as completing that mission would not earn him any points. Hearing this, Takumi admitted he wasn't interested in leveling up in the guild. Suddenly, some rude men approached Maria and Sophia, telling them they could teach them better things than their weakling master. These guys claimed to be stronger than the protagonist, as they were ranked D, practically forcing the girls to go with them. As expected, our protagonist stepped in front of them to defend the girls, making the men furious, and stating that someone as weak as him wouldn't be able to defeat them. Hearing this, the protagonist admitted to himself that he was extremely scared but still needed to defend his companions, insulting the big guy, who quickly punched him. However, he managed to block the hit with a magic armor, which ended up breaking the man's arm, causing the protagonist to level up his physical defense. At that moment, a man asked what the hell was going on there, questioning Takumi if he was responsible for all that. However, another man arrived to explain the entire situation to his master. Apparently, this bald man was named Barak and was the master of the entire guild. Hastily, the bald man ordered the injured guy to be taken away, then asked the protagonist to follow him. Once in his office, this man asked what he had done to the fat guy. Our protagonist explained everything that had happened, saying he had covered his body with coal he had in his hand, turning it into a diamond at the same time. Hearing this, the bald man's companion realized he had used alchemy. After learning that our protagonist couldn't join the alchemist guild, the guild master decided to raise the girls to rank D, explaining that since they were so attractive, many groups would bother them. Knowing this, the protagonist admitted he had already registered them, but the bald man's mage companion assigned them some simple tasks that would easily help them rank up. Thus, the protagonist's group set to work to complete the mission, starting with hunting goblins and other monsters, then collecting morel herbs. The girls easily took down the goblins, but Takumi grew suspicious of their unusually high numbers. Sophia suggested there might be a nearby camp with a goblin general, a powerful C-rank monster. Conquering it seemed impossible with their small group, but Maria and Sophia were determined to try. Meanwhile, Maple informed Takumi that she was about to evolve, so he hid her in a magical subspace. Upon reaching the goblin camp, they discovered over 300 enemies. After confirming no humans were around, they used their magic rings to unleash their full power, wiping out the base with ease. However, the real challenge remained the goblin leader and his guards. Sophia took the lead, cutting down many goblins, while Takumi fought the general, enhancing his physical abilities with his sword and magic to claim victory. Back at the guild, they were scolded for acting without permission. However, when Maple appeared after evolving into a beautiful girl, the guild leader was so shocked that he gave up on reprimanding them, admitting they were an unusual bunch. The receptionist quickly prepared their rewards, promoting Maria to rank D and Sophia to rank F. The next day, Maria asked Takumi for spare fabric, and he suggested using Maple's spider silk. When the topic shifted to underwear, Maria showed him a sketch, but Takumi had a different design in mind, making her extremely flustered. Soon after, Papek arrived to inform them that Margrave Godwin von Bolton wanted to meet Takumi. The noble expressed his gratitude for Takumi's purification items, which would improve the kingdom's hygiene and prevent pandemics. He also warned that the Holy Empire of Sidonia might interfere at any time. Exhausted, Takumi returned home, where the girls had made even more underwear to have extras. When they handed it to him, they blushed as he asked them to try it on. Embarrassed, Takumi quickly left the room. Alone, he found himself nervously wondering if he should try it on himself, but quickly dismissed the odor, did he? If you've made it this far into the video, don't forget to write the word exquisito in the comment section. Thank you so much, and see you in the next video.